So you're not the only Jaime.
I'm not.
You're not.
No.
At the Dog Moms of New Jersey on Instagram, Jaime, we talked about her last episode. She asked, "My dog likes to grab his leash and will jump on me until he gets it. How do we stop this?"
So if she's talking about when she's walking, this is a very common problem for a lot of people. Now, I know Jaime's dog is very excited and very exuberant personality.
Very active.
Very active. She was just telling us a story on Sunday how he decided to go through the woods and chase something. I think it was like a deer or something, and he was just running around crazy, and he wound up ripping part of his paw off, and we felt really bad about that. But I think that's healing. But knowing that he definitely has a very excitable personality, this comes from a lot of frustration. A lot of people think that their dog is just being naughty, and they're just trying to act out for attention. It's not necessarily attention. It's more frustration. Is that they want to go, they want to run, they want to do this, they want to do that, and all that energy needs to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. So they grab onto that leash. It's like clenching down on something. Like you feel a little bit better. Like if you ever like a toothache or something like that, and you put pressure, it feels better. Sometimes with dogs, if they bite down or they play or they grab something, like Oakley, when we do come in the house or we let him out of his crate,
so he's got to occupy his mouth.
He has to grab something. I mean, he has to grab a bone or a toy or something. Hysterically enough. We have a weight that opens up the office door, which
like
leads
a dumbbell
to the back door. One day he couldn't find a bone. He picked up the 10-pound weight, and I was like, "You're gonna hurt yourself. Please drop that." So dogs like to have something in their mouth, especially if they're excited or frustrated. So this is something to acknowledge. Now I'm gonna have John tell a little story about our friend DJ from the shelter and what we had to do with him when he first started coming in. That helped.
Yeah. So DJ had a serious issue. He would just jump and jump and jump to the point where he was accidentally getting some of the walker's hands.
Yeah, people were scared to walk him.
Yeah.
Now, he had no socialization. He was from a drug house. Yeah. Poor thing. Was not even a year old.
So before we get into this, there's an add-on to this question. Guza728 on Instagram, I'm not sure what her name is, says, "My dog insists on holding, chewing her leash while walking. What can we do to correct this?" Okay. So this story will help with that.
Yes.
DJ would repeatedly jump up, and he just constantly, the entire walk, it could be a 10-minute walk, every single minute he will spend jumping up trying to just grab the leash, like almost like obsessive behavior. We had switched him to a metal leash, which usually works for that kind of stuff, because when they bite on the metal, obviously it hurts, so they don't want to do it anymore.
I don't even know if it hurts. I just think it's not comfortable to hold that.
Right, and pull with it.
Yeah.
It's not the same as like a nylon webbing leash.
Again, that clenching down, like in your gums
it's
feeling.
It's not satisfying.
It's not satisfying.
If anything, it's painful.
Yeah.
So usually that works. That didn't work for him. He did acknowledge the fact that the metal wasn't as fun to hold on to, but he would go for the strap, the nylon
or you,
strap.
like he'd go for like your pant leg, like he just
your sweatpants
needed to hold on to something.
Yeah, so we started taking him out and immediately shoving something in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Plush, a nylabone, a tennis ball, something in his mouth, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Normal dog.
An angel.
He just needed to occupy his mouth. Either it was stress, and that just reduced his stress level, or it was just this kind of OCD behavior where he just needed some type of oral fixation.
I think mostly for DJ it was definitely stress and frustration related. He was there for a long time.
The shelter's a very frustrating place.
Especially if you're a cruelty case, because you get stuck in the back. No one's seeing you. You're not getting as much interaction as the dogs that are on the adoption floor.
And then he wasn't getting a whole lot of walks because everyone was afraid to walk him.
Exactly. And it wasn't his fault. He was just a big, giant baby.
So he turned into
he was so
perfect angel.
We almost adopted him.
It was just have something ready, put it in his mouth.
Yeah, we were both begging both of our parents to let us take him.
And then really it got to the point where he started to enjoy his walks without that obsessive jumping.
Absolutely.
If he didn't have a toy in his mouth, it didn't matter.
Yep. Do you remember when I put the sweater on him? So during Christmas time, now this dog, again, came from a drug house. He knew nothing. He would pee on himself. He would lay in his urine, poop everywhere. I mean, he was a jumper. He was just had so much frustration, this poor dog. So I would always bathe him, and he was always such a good boy for his bath. He really liked it. And then one day I was like, let me put a sweater on him. And someone was like, he's just going to destroy it. I was like, well, at least, if it's the one piece of clothing this dog ever wears, at least he had it during Christmas time. It was this nice red woven sweater. It fit him perfectly.
It was really nice.
It was a really nice
I would
sweater.
wear it.
He stopped peeing and pooping in his dig and kept himself clean. He wore this sweater for 2 months and he loved it. Oh my God, he was such a good boy. I'm going to cry because I miss him. But nice enough, we actually still stay in touch with him because my assistant and very best friend Miranda, her friend Nick actually wound up adopting him. So we get to see him all the time. He actually lives, does he live in Keyport?
I think he's a little outside of Keyport, but he has a shop. He's a welder.
Yeah.
He always
down the street.
He always fixes my exhaust for me. Yeah, he's literally right down the street.
So, and now DJ is a shop dog and he's off leash, which
so good.
I don't promote, but we do love DJ.
It is also just a giant empty complex.
It's true.
So.
And he listens to his dad. You would never think they're the same dog. So the more you work with your dog on this issue and stop, the biggest thing is not thinking that they're trying to be naughty and they're trying to disobey you, because that's not what it is. They don't know what else to do. And this is that it's it's energy.
They're
it has to go somewhere. It can't just stop. They can't just be like, okay, I have to just, stop right now. That energy, that frustration, that excitableness needs to go somewhere. So that is what they are doing. So, whether Jaime needs to put a toy in her dog's mouth or just have a little bit more command control when they're walking. So like with Oakley, when we put his harness on, he goes crazy. So we've been starting to put his harness on him and let him go through the house. We're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. We're just letting him get desensitized to the leash being on. So maybe this is the trigger for her dog. We don't know too much information about this because it's just a short question, but there could be certain things, maybe it's once they get through the front door or once they get in front of a certain house that has a dog that makes the dog react. There are certain things that trigger dogs. So finding out your trigger when it initially happens, that'll help you negate the problem.
Awesome.
Yes. And what was the chewing as well, right? That was the second question about chewing?
No, it was just basically needing to have the leash in her mouth while on a walk.
I wanted to make sure that we made sure that we
So I would definitely, my first step would be on our next walk, get something, I would go with something plush, something similar material, and just put it in your dog's mouth and go.
Yep.
And that might just occupy him.